Hi everyone, it's me, Sean Trace, back here with the Growing Money with Sean Trace podcast. Now, I do not have any guests today. Today, I'm actually going to be talking to you about financial fitness and my financial fitness journey. One of the things that I was speaking with one of my most recent guests, and we started talking about how getting your finances in order is actually so similar to fitness, your physical fitness. And so many people have an experience where they can really relate to getting back in the gym or to having a long period of time where they were not in the gym and they kind of let themselves go. I know that the last bit, I was really not as active. I've always been really active, but it was kind of a period of time where I was working so much and I just wasn't feeling great. You know, so many hours of the day I was putting into my work, and I was working two jobs, and it was helping my finances, but my wellness was really taking a hit. And so my wife and I were looking at each other. We were both stressed out, angry all the time, and we said, you know what? We need to get back in the gym. And we started going to Muay Thai classes together, and I am feeling great. It feels awesome to be getting that cardio in, to be getting that release and just exercising and feeling good in general. And what was interesting is that it got away from me. You know, one day, I'm just going to skip my workout today. And then it became a second day. And then it became a week. And then it became a month. I'm still moving around. I'm not out of shape. But then I suddenly realized, I was like, you know, it's like kind of a death by a thousand cuts. You just are slowly getting hammered. And one of the interesting things is, and why I started creating this podcast in the journey that I'm trying to share with people, is that I am not the guy who has it all together. I do not have this huge 401k. I do not have this massive amount of savings. I am actually the opposite end. I'm the guy sitting there with a ton of student loan debt, with not enough in savings, with credit card debt, and I am trying to apply the principles that my guests talk about to get my own life in financial order, because it is not right now. And, you know, and one of the reasons that I want to share this journey is to kind of remove some of the stigma about talking about this. You know, so many people have financial challenges, or maybe they don't have financial challenges, but they have a lack of financial knowledge. And you know, you go into a room and you get people. Let's imagine that you go out with four friends and you're all sitting there and someone is having a personal problem or a problem with their spouse. And you walk in the room and they're like, hey guys, I'm having a problem with my partner. Everyone's going to be like, oh man, thank you for sharing that. We're so glad that you're willing to talk about that. And we're here to help. Versus someone comes in to that same group of friends and says, hey, everyone, I'm having a financial problem. Takes the wind out of the room. You know, it takes a lot of people get kind of like, ooh, I don't necessarily want to talk about that, because maybe they don't have their finances in order. Or maybe there's a friend who wants to talk to you and they're talking about, well, you should be investing in this, you should be doing this. And you're like, well, I'm nowhere near that. So how do I proceed? And the thing is that one of the things that I think we need to be thinking about is to kind of change our perspective on money, because the way we look at it is kind of wrong. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to mention or to bring things up. I remember this one TV show that I was watching where there were these two ladies, and it was this wellness show on TV where this doctor, this tiny little guy, really mousy looking doctor, so worked with people that were very much overweight, and he didn't pull any punches. It was pretty awesome watching this person. He was a real straight shooter. And these two ladies came in. It might have been a mother and son, and he was asking them about their water intake. And they were like, oh, we drink a lot of water every day. Well, what are you drinking? Well, we're drinking, 2-3 liters of soda pop, of whatever brand it was. And the interesting thing is that there was no awareness that this wasn't a positive health habit. There was no awareness that maybe this wasn't contributing to a place that could be beneficial for them, you know? And it was something that's been similar to me. I've dealt with a degree of money avoidance in my life. And you know, I'm working to change it. But part of the process of that is to become more aware of it. And one of the things that I've done, and that's something my guest talked about, I have my expense report. You know, I've started to make sure that anything that I spend money on is tracked. And then I'll write it down throughout the day, and then I'm trying to figure out which app to use. But there's a lot of these these expense trackers that are really amazing, and they can break it down and say, what are you spending money on? Where is it going? And for me, the two big distinctions are I have the blue line for stuff that I actively spend, and then the red notes are for things that are recurring charges. So I can also be aware of what money is being spent that I'm not aware of, you know? Why I'm bringing this up is because financial fitness is about getting back in shape, just like regular fitness is. It's about building lasting habits and not quick fixes. When you go to the gym, you're not aiming to do that one workout that is going to make you suddenly healthy. Goodness gracious, I wish that was the reality. I wish you could go like, hey, we're going to go in and I'm going to do the workout. Beach body, done. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to keep showing up. And the process of showing up is what gets you there. Now, we have different things that stand in our way, but it's an important place to begin. Now, I want to talk about a little tiny bit about money personalities. And this is something that's been fascinating with me getting my guests on. And I've been talking to a lot of people about these and things that I wasn't aware of different money personalities. But we're going to look at the four main money personalities. First one, money avoidance. Now, this has been me for a long time. And partially it was because I was in a profession where I didn't make a lot of money. And I'm rectifying that. I'm changing that. But I would always avoid financial responsibilities due to fear and anxiety, because thinking about money, talking about money was terrifying to me because it would remind me of the lack that I had at that moment, or the dangers that I was facing from some looming bill or for some other situation that might cause me to suddenly revert back into survival. And, you know, so for me, money avoidance was the way that I coped, and it wasn't healthy. Another main money personality is money worship. Now, these are the people that believe that more money will solve all your problems. And these people just drive towards it. And you know, I had some family members that were like this, and there was never enough. There was always seeking out more. And, you know, we are all a combination of this. I have a large degree of money avoidance, but, you know, there's also money worship. This idea that if I had X amount of dollars in the bank, that would fix all my problems. Well, you know, problems will be there no matter what amount of money you have. Will always be things that you have coming up. But if you have enough money and you have a plan in place, you can kind of cope for those things. So, you know, money avoidance, money worship are two of your first money personalities. The next one is money status. Now, this one is about associating self-worth with financial success and outward appearance. These are the people that are driven by the success and about some of the show, some of the, you know, like, hey, look at my new car, look at my new watch, look at my this or that. These people feel that unless they have a high, you know, net worth, they don't have any worth. And this is money status. Now, the next money personality is money vigilance. These people are the people that are super tied to being frugal, cautious, and vigilant about finances. And we often will know someone like that. And these people tend to forget to have fun, you know. So all of us will be a combination of these different main money personalities. One might be dominant more than others at times, but they are all there inside of all of us. You know, I have for a long time been in money avoidance, but definitely have money worship. Know that money status is also present in my money personality, and have been leaning more toward money vigilance of lately after dealing with some lean times. So everything pops up. But one of the things that I would recommend, and some of my guests have told me, is to encourage people to reflect on your own money personality. What is most expressing itself at that time? What do you lean towards more often? Because as you start looking at these money personalities, you can start crafting your own personal journey. And for me, my starting point was acknowledging my struggles with money avoidance and the guilt that came with that. I mean, you want to talk about feeling guilty. Going along, and there was a point in time a couple months ago, maybe almost a year ago, where I had hit a wall. I had some things that came up. I lost some work, and I had been applying for jobs forever and hadn't been able to find anything new. And I had to go and ask for help from some family members, from some friends, and my goodness, it was embarrassing. And, I'm like, hey, I'm a grown adult, and I'm having to ask for help from friends. Not a place that I ever want to be. But if I don't talk about it, at least to myself, if I don't admit it, then what can I do? There was a video I saw online, and I'm getting back to the gym analogy here. A video I saw online in which this woman was overweight. Hey, you know what? To each their own. And there was no judgment on that. But in this video, there was a problem. This woman who was very much overweight was pushing a stroller. She fell down. And she tried to get up multiple times and could not. And the stroller was rolling down the street toward a busy road. As much as she struggled to get up, her body did not respond, and she kept falling down repeatedly as she tried to stand up. Luckily, an onlooker ran up and caught the stroller before it rolled into traffic with her child. Now, she, hopefully, after that situation, looked at that and said, I have a problem here. And this problem used to simply be my problem, but now it is going to start affecting the people around me. And at that point in time, you've got to do something about it. Now, the first step for me was starting my expense tracker and emphasizing an awareness on mindfulness and emphasizing my awareness of money and creating a level of mindfulness about what I should be doing with it and how I should be handling it. And before that, not even how I'm doing it, that's like way beyond where I'm at. I'm just trying to figure out where the hell my money's going. And it was something that my wife, I had withdrawn about $50 and she was traveling for the weekend. And, I try to sit there with a certain amount of money and not withdraw extra and just be having this circle. So I had my budget for the weekend and I was going to just sit on $50. And my wife came back and I was like, she's like, hey, I have a delivery coming. Can you share some cash with me so I can go down and pay for it? And I was like, well, I got to go to the ATM. I don't have any in my pocket right now. And she's like, I was gone 2 days. What did you buy? And the crazy thing was I couldn't remember. I was sitting there going through my head going, what did I buy? Where did that money go? And I searched and I went back through my mind. I walked myself backwards through time. And I was able to piece back together what it had been spent on. But it was like out of sight, out of mind. 3 or 4 simple purchases became suddenly $50. And it was really a wake-up call that, all right, something here needs to change. Something needs to shift for me. Now, well, when should we get into shape? When should we be getting healthy? Well, it should have been 10 years ago. It should have been a practice that we put into place 10, 15, 20 years ago. The best time, I see people that are coming on the show and they're like, when should you start investing? Well, I started investing at 13. I'm like, well, I'm 45, man. kind of missed that boat. The best time to start your financial fitness was early on. Well, the second best time is today. It's right now. Now, wherever you're at, you got to forgive yourself and start fresh. There really is a huge importance of saying to yourself, you know what, Sean from the past, you did a great job. You did the best that you could with your information, but you didn't have the information that you needed. And for that, I forgive you. But there are no more excuses, Sean. Today is a day that you have become aware of your situation, and it's time to kind of shift things up. So, Sean, I'm talking to myself right now. Let's start small. Just as you would if you went to the gym. You're not going to be like, all right, haven't worked out in a while. Let's run a marathon. My wife and I, when we went back to Muay Thai, we went to a group class and we were like burned out and tired, but we went to where it was okay for us. And when we were tired, we looked at the teacher. We're like, we're going to take a second here. We looked at the teacher and said, we're going to take a second and just kind of refresh here. Now, take manageable steps. Like what I'm doing right now, tracking my expenses. As soon as I know how much I'm spending, well, the next step is I'm going to start tracking my income. Where is my money coming in from? And then creating a budget, making sure that I'm operating inside of that budget. Then maybe after that, if I'm not operating inside my budget, well, I can kind of cut back. That's a really important thing to do. And also look at how I can make more money. Now, if I try to do all those things at the same time, it might feel overwhelming. But if I can start with one thing and start to focus on consistency over intensity. I mean, it's not about drastic changes, but about creating habits that last. If I can start by making sure that every single day I track my expenses, and at the end of the year, I have made sure that every single last expense is accounted for, well, then I have a really good view of what I am spending, and I can start forecasting and planning for the unexpected, and putting things in place that allow me to get into shape. And just as it would be that, I'm not going to go out and fight a Muay Thai fight tomorrow. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm probably never going to fight a Muay Thai fight. It's not my goal. But if I train consistently, over time, my cardio will be in much better shape, and I'm going to feel better. And you know what? The good thing is, if I might have to defend myself, I'll be ready for that. I'll be in a place that I'm safe. Just like if you are handling your finances, you'll be able to defend yourself from challenges that arise, problems that come, and you'll be in a much better space because you'll have an awareness of where you're at and what you can do. Now, you can look at things like tracking your expenses, and if you're not doing that right now, start focusing on where you're putting your money. Now, it's really important for me to do this because, again, my money personality is money avoidance. And for me, the first step is bringing awareness to where I'm putting my money. Now, whatever it is that is your money personality, there might be a different step for you. So start thinking about this, doing research, watching videos. YouTube is a phenomenal resource to kind of inform yourself. Now, for me, the most important thing was awareness and accountability. For me, knowing where my money goes changes my mindset, because there might be little things that you're spending money on. For me, I spend a lot of money on certain food items that are important for me. Yeah. Is that something I want to continue spending money on, or do I want to find a different food item that is more affordable? Or maybe I just want to cut that out altogether. There are different ways to go about it, but if you're aware of something, or maybe you see that you spend a lot of money on going out to movies, well, if that's important for you, be aware of that. This isn't about judgment. This is about looking at your values and what you are valuing day to day in your finances. But if you can do that, it helps you get further ahead. Now, there are a lot of great tools out there online, and I'm not going to plug any of them because I'm still researching, but look them up. They do awesome things. There are tons of apps that can help you track, where you're spending money, and they're great. So go online, do your research, see what works for you. Now, what is this all about? Well, it's about empowering you. When you can empower yourself to make changes. There was this great video of this woman, and I believe she was 75, and she started weightlifting. And suddenly, it might have been she was like 71 or 72. Doesn't matter. She was already pretty old. And she got in the gym. And I remember seeing photos of her, and she was fit as hell. She looked great. It is never too late to start getting your house in order. It is never too late to start getting financially fit. Now, your future self is going to thank you for this, because how you start today, certainly the best time to get in shape would have been 20 years ago. Now, if you could go back in time and tell yourself, Sean, 20 years ago, you need to get yourself in order. And if I had been able to tell that, and I had started taking steps, I would have been in a much better place now. Well, I'm going to forgive myself and say, well, you know what? I didn't. But from today, I can take steps to empower my future self, to secure and make their life situation more safe, so that if future Sean has to deal with some type of setback or challenge, he'll be ready for that, because I'm making choices now that are going to help him be in a much better place in 20, 30, 50 years, hopefully. Now, stay consistent. I want to remind you that wherever you're at on your financial fitness journey, it is a journey, not a destination. All right? There's no place that you're aiming to get to. Once you achieve that goal, you aim for another goal. Whether that might be, for me, I want to get my cardio back so that I'm not feeling winded in anything in my day-to-day life. I want to feel healthy again, fit again. I'd like to get my six-pack back. Hopefully. Whatever it might be for you, it is a journey. And when you hit that goal, what's the next goal? If you can stay consistent, you can get to a place that you want to be. And it might not look the way you think it's supposed to look, but stay consistent and aim to really get there eventually. Now, some of the things that I want to highlight and remind people. First of all, remember your money personality. Know what type of personality is your predominant personality, and then start simple. And think about ways that you can build lasting habits to make change in your life. Now, I want to challenge you and issue a bit of a call to action. Now, what is one small step that you can take today toward your financial health? For me, I'm going to continue tracking my expenses, and I'm going to remind myself, if I am motivated to buy something that is not needed, is this really needed in my life today? Am I going to look at my expense tracker and look at that thing with judgment? Am I going to be like, you know what, Sean, that wasn't really something that benefits your future self? Or am I going to say, you know what, this was a good buy. I recently bought a new camera. I bought this webcam here. Now, it was about $50, but you know what? It's a great step up over the webcam I was using. That's a great spend. It was a great buy. It was something that I could do that can help build my wealth, because that camera is going to help me as I'm making more videos. Now, as I go through this podcast, I'm going to keep having guests on, but I'm going to kind of alternate weeks on and off. Every week, twice a month, I'll have a guest on, and the off weeks, I will have a video like this where I talk about my own journey. And hopefully it's something that can inspire people and that you find information and knowledge in this content as well. But let's see, and leave some message in the comments, and let me know how this affected you, and if there are topics that you would love to hear some videos about. No matter what, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I wish all of you a healthy and prosperous day. See you next time.